Everyday chat and chart live during the New York session. Here, real traders share the raw truth, their mindset, technical analysis, and execution. This is where real traders show their skill set. Welcome to Trading TV. This is your stage to shine.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to a new episode of Chat and Chart. This is the London Session Open, and this is your host, Saif Qaddoura. Hope you had a great weekend. Hopefully this week will be a good trading week for all of us. So without further ado, let's start with the economic calendar as always, and then we move to the charts and align our technicals with our fundamentals. So let's get to it. We start with today, which is Monday, on July 6th, 2026. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Yahya, Raya, Patrick, and Matthew. On Monday we have, which is today, we have the S&P Global Services PMI, which is expected to stay unchanged at 51.3. Anything above that would be positive for the USD. Anything lower than that would be negative. But as long as it's above 50, any PMI number above 50 is expansionary. Any reading below 50 is a contractionary reading. And then we have the ISM non-manufacturing prices, which is pretty much very similar to Hello, we're back. What just happened? The stream stopped, right? Okay, so back to what we were saying. We were talking about the ISM non-manufacturing prices. The previous was 71.3, which is like historically it's extreme, but it's still below the reading before, which was above 80. It was 82 something, I remember. So any reading below this would mean less inflationary pressures on the economy and the non-manufacturing sector of the economy. And then we have the ISM non-manufacturing PMI, which is expected to be slightly worse than the previous, which is 54.2 in comparison to 54.5 previous reading. So anything above this would indicate strength in the non-manufacturing sectors in the US. And as long as it's above 50 again, because it's a PMI number, anything above 50 is expansionary, anything below 50 is contractionary. But I doubt we will see any reading below 50 because the expectations are pretty high and the previous reading was pretty solid at 54.5. Good morning, Meza. Good morning, Wine, Arif, Marky. Yes, it froze. But we're... Paulina, is that you? Okay. So that's it for Monday. On Tuesday, we have nothing of high impact. So we move right to Wednesday, which is July 8th. We have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate decision. The previous is 2.25%. They're expected to hike. I don't know why this number is not showing here, but they're expected to hike 25 basis points. So the forecast is 2.5%. Because the inflation or the inflationary pressures are reaching different economies and they're starting to feel it in New Zealand. So they need to hike rates to fight this rising inflation. Okay, it is indeed. Hi. Good morning, Domisak. All right, so then we move to, we have the crude oil inventories. Last week we had a draw of 3.775 million barrels. It's getting better. Last week it was 6 million barrels. The week before it was 8 million barrels. So it's getting better. Like the draw is becoming less and less, which is actually showing that the normalization of the supply of the energy supply is working its way. And then we have the 10-year note auction. Last auction it was at 4.538. Since last week we had lower than expected NFPs, so the rate hike odds became lower. So I expect the next 10-year note auction to be lower, a little bit lower than 4.538. So we might see something at 4.49 something or 4.51 something. So yeah. And then we have the FOMC meeting minutes. That's for the meeting that happened. When was it? I think it was the June 17th. So those are the minutes of that meeting. We'll see what we basically know what happened, but we'll see how the markets react to this. And then this is the Wednesday, July 8th. We are done with that. Then we move to Thursday. Okay, so Thursday we have initial jobless claims, our weekly number. So the previous is 215,000 last week, which came in better than expected last week. The forecast is a slight increase in jobless claims to 218,000. Those numbers are relatively and historically low. They're not alarming for the jobs market. So anything like, even if it comes at 218,000, that wouldn't mean a lot of negativity for the the jobs market. Okay, and then we go to existing home sales. Slight improvement to 4.2 million in comparison to 4.17 million. I don't think this would be of high impact. Then we have the 30-year bond auction. The last bond auction was at 5.05%. I think this time we'll see it lower than 5%. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, and then on Friday we have the an all-day holiday in New Zealand, which is a bank holiday, and then we have the German CPI. The German CPI previous reading was 0.3%. The forecast is 0.3%. It's expected to stay unchanged. Anything higher than this would mean that the ECB would have to move towards raising rates or hiking rates to fight this inflation. If not, then it's still contained, and the inflationary pressures coming from the Middle East conflict are now normalizing. It shows that they started to normalize. Okay. All right. So does anyone have any questions before we move to the charts? Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Clear. Okay. So now let's move to the charts and let's see how the fundamentals or the events align with our technicals. Okay, so we stop sharing this, and then we do this. We go to the charts and share. Okay. Okay, so as always, we start with the DXY. Okay. So on the weekly chart, it shows a negative close last week. We might just reverse this move to the upside and just keep going up, or we might go and retest 100.3 level. before continuing the upward movement. So it's either or. Either we continue going up from here, or we continue correcting towards the 100.3 level, and then we continue going up from there. But overall, it's trending upwards. Last week was the first week to close in the red in a while because of the negative NFPs, but it looks positive. It still looks positive. On the daily, that's what we have. We have this upward sloping trend, which is an uptrend. Okay, so on the daily, it shows that it might just continue going up from here because on Friday we saw this rejection to the upside, and then today we already broke Friday's high, and it's looking somewhat bullish. So we might continue going up from here. On the 4 hours, what does it look like? Actually, you know what? Let me check the monthly. Before we go to the 4 hours, let's take a look at the monthly. On the monthly, it closed above very important levels. So this drop that we saw at the end of last week, like going into this week, is nothing but a small correction. So that's why I like to look at higher time frames. It gives me perspective. So look how big the last monthly candle was and how bullish it closed. So any correction, I want to keep this information in the back of my head, because any correction might throw me off if it looks big enough. But no, actually, what's happening here is nothing but a very small correction in the bigger picture of bullishness. Okay, so we have this. Okay, even on the 4 hours, it looks pretty bullish. Okay, now we move to the exact opposite chart, the inverted chart of the XY, which is Euro USD. Let's go to the monthly. The monthly should look exactly opposite of what the XY looked. So this is the monthly candle. It closed very bearish. Now, this strength that we saw at the end of last week because of the news or because of the NFP release was nothing but a very small correction in comparison to last month's bearishness. And then we have the weekly. Okay, so on the weekly, it closed somewhat bullish, but as we said on the DXY, or not as we said, opposite to what we said, it's either going up to 1.1510 area, which corresponds to 100.3 area on the XY, or it just continues dropping from here to 1.12. Okay, and that's on the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. Okay, now the daily looks bearish. It's below moving averages, below 1, 2, 3, 4. All the major moving averages are above Euro USD's price, so which shows a bearish sign. 1 second. 4 hours. 4 hours looks like. 1 second. Yeah, so I'm not very sure that's going to continue dropping from here. I think we might see 1.15, 1.1480 before dropping. Like, it's still a possibility that it might continue dropping from here, and the XY might continue going up from here. But from what I see, I think we're going to see a deeper correction in the XY, and we might see higher numbers in Euro USD, maybe towards this level, which is 1.15. This level, which was the support, now becomes the resistance, which corresponds with the 126-day moving average. So yeah, it might be that. Okay, and then let's take a look at the GBP. The monthly, how did the monthly look like? Okay, it's not as bearish as the Euro USD. The weekly was very bullish actually on GBP USD. That looks very, very bullish in comparison to other to Euro USD basically. So previous week closed as a very strong bullish engulfing candle. But as I said in the past live streams, like if you look at it, we've been like in a range for the past year on GBP/USD. Look, so this is the range. It's been going on for the past year. So I wouldn't want to trade the GBP/USD unless it's like intraday or scalping. But taking any swings on it would be BS. Okay. Let me see if you have any questions. Okay, are you expecting the NZD to strengthen? Yeah, it should strengthen, but it might already started. It might have already started to strengthen because of the expectation. Where is the 1 second? NZD, where is it? Here. Here's NZD USD. So your question is, because of the rate hike, am I expecting to see NZD strengthen? To be honest, I don't really care because it doesn't move like I don't trade NZD usually, so I don't care how it moves. But if you want me to answer technically, then yes, it might strengthen, but not at the time of the release or the interest rate decision. It might start to strengthen before the interest rate decision, because markets usually start to price in strength before it happens. And once the numbers are released or the decision is released, usually it weakens. Why? Because of profit taking. So a lot of people do something that is called buying the rumor and selling the fact. So it is expected to go up, or expected to they're expected to hike rates, which would be positive for the NZD. So they buy this news or they buy this rumor, and once the real news come out, what they do is they just take profit. So they buy the rumor and sell the news. I told you that I will deposit funds and trade and deposit and got 100% bonus. Then, but the problem is the spread a little bit higher. Like, okay, so which account type did you choose? Okay, so do you guys have any questions so far? No? Okay, so we move now to Bitcoin real quick. The daily. Let me see the weekly. Okay, so the weekly closed a bullish engulfing candle, coming off the 57, 58 area, 58 level actually, not area. It closed as a bullish engulfing. That might be the end of it, but in my opinion, I still see more weakness in Bitcoin. I still see it going towards this level here, which is 53,000. On the daily, like it's still somewhat ranging below this area, which is the 65,000. It's ranging below it. So if you look at the range here, like let's consider this area here, the 65,000. Now, what it's doing is basically this. It's ranging below it. So we have this range. So we might continue to range for a while now until it breaks and closes below 58,000. That's when we might see like a steeper drop towards the 53,000 and then a continuation to the upside. I don't know if you watched the video we posted on Trading, where I used to explain the Bitcoin time cycle, but it is expected to bottom out on October 5th, 2026, which is somewhere around here. So let's see. Let me mark it out and see if it works or not. So here is the date of Bitcoin bottoming out here. Look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, look how it looks like. It's still lower highs, lower lows, still trending downwards. As long as we're below 67,000, we're still trending lower. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Now let's move to everyone's favorite, gold. Yes, Mesa gold. So we start with the monthly. Look how bearish the monthly candle was, last month's candle was. So what does this tell us? It tells us that it's still going downwards toward at least 3,800. Okay, that's what it shows us. So all this strength that we saw in the past few days, few trading days, was nothing but a very small correction in comparison to last month's bearishness. Okay, we go to the weekly. Okay, so on the weekly, we closed pretty much bullish. So we might be heading towards the 4,300 before continuing the drop, or we just continue dropping from here. But if you ask me, I'd rather see it reach 4,300 first, because that would be a great selling area to sell from 4,300 and hold all the way to 3,900. That would be actually a very good trade. 4,000 pips, very easy 4,000 pips. So yeah, if you ask me, I would love it to reach 4,300, but it might not do that and just continue dropping from here. Why? Because it just got to this trend line. All right, so if it goes to 4,300, even if it goes to 4,300, it wouldn't be like very much I don't know how to say it, but even if it reaches here, it wouldn't ruin the trend. It would still have a lower high, and we already have a lower low. So as long as it's below 4,400, it's good. So even if it reaches 4,300, it wouldn't actually ruin the downtrend. It would still be having lower highs, lower lows. And if we're selling anywhere around 4,300, our stop loss might be like big at 4,400. But guess what? Your TP is here at 4,800. So that's a 1 to 5. It's worth it. In my opinion, it's worth it. Okay, and let's take a look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, look what happened. We got a bearish engulfing candle from this area, which is, or this level, which is the 126-day moving average. Usually this this moving average works. So this is a very strong engulfing candle. I would wait for something I like to call a failure swing. So here. So now we have higher highs, higher lows, right? So what I'm trying to see now before entering any trades is a retest of this area without breaking the previous high. So a failure to break the previous high and a breaking of the previous low, which would make something we call a failure swing. Let me zoom in. Let me remove this. Okay, so I wanted to try and go above this but fail, and then break below, that's when I would start looking for my setup. That's when I would start looking for my bearish engulfing with the retest, so that I would sell and continue moving downwards. Now, if that happens, where would be the targets? Where would I be aiming for? So somewhere around 4,800 as well. So yeah, this confirms it. If it reaches 4,300, or if it decides to continue dropping from here, then yeah, 3,800 is the first target. Do you guys have any questions? Stops were 41.70 and now moved to 41.62. When a lot of big players know a certain level in any pair, doesn't affect the price action or have chances. Meza, what do you mean? When a lot of big players know a certain level in any pair, doesn't it affect the price action or have chances of manipulation? What do you mean exactly? And Meza is in sells from 4,163 in gold. Stops were 170 and now moved to 162. So you have your stops and profit, which is great. Now, where are you targeting? Sure, I will look at DAX. What's your target, Meza? Targeting 4,100. Like, let me show you what I mean, Meza, because we had this discussion before. You entered here, okay, with your stops initially above 170, and you targeted what? 4,100. So that's a 1 to 7. Okay, so you're already in profit. You're already in good profit. You have 100 pips profit, and now you moved your stop loss down to 162, which makes it like a 1 to infinity risk reward. So I don't want you to get upset if this trade gets stopped out, because it's very unlikely for it to work, statistically speaking, of course. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm just telling you, like, statistically speaking, it's very hard for this trade to work. So we need a little bit of common sense. Unless you don't care about this trade, unless you already made enough profits and you would like to just take this chance and leave it running, then yeah. But 62 is very close. It's what, $7 away from here, and the 4,100 is very, very far in comparison to 62, and it has many obstacles in the way. We have this 50-day moving average, we have this low, we have this low before you reach the 4,100. So like, you wanted to break a previous low and you wanted to break a trend line without retesting this area, without even giving it the chance to react away from or get rejected from the trend line. So that's a little bit too ambitious, in my opinion. If you ask me, I would close and wait for another chance to enter a sell. I don't know the future. This might work and you might just get to 4,100, but statistically speaking, it's very, very hard. It's very unlikely. Okay. Mr. Trades, can you help me break down a losing trade? Sure. Tell me, what do you have, Mr. Trades? Okay, so now we move to DAX. Where's DAX, DAX? Here. Oh, wow. That's very bullish. That's the monthly. We're looking at all-time highs, like nothing much to analyze here, guys. It's at an all-time high. Very bullish weekly closes. Well above the all moving averages, the bands, everything. 4 hours. I don't know what you want me to tell you, Moin, about DAX. It's at an all-time high, like nothing much to talk about. Does it look like it's going to correct soon? Not really. Where could it go? No idea, because we don't have historical data to rely on in projecting the targets. So nothing much to talk about here, Moin. The trade, I really don't care, because my current focus is on learning and adjusting my levels. For that purpose, I took the trade. Okay. Okay, Mr. Trades, tell me, what do you have? How do you want me to help you break down the losing trade? Tell me. So Mesa, you don't really care about the trade because your current focus is on learning and adjusting my. But how does like getting stopped out help you learn and adjust your levels? I would like you to answer that. With an all-time high, there's always a fear of reversal. Yes, correct. Not a reversal, but a strong correction, a strong, fast correction. Okay. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq real quick. What's happening here? Well, I don't know if you guys see what I see, but it looks like a triangle to me. Look. So yeah, we're still looking at a continuation to the upside. Let me see if the S&P 500 has the same. Yeah, it has the exact same setup. So there's a triangle here as well. So any retest to this lower side of the triangle, or lower line here, would be a good buy with stops below the previous low. Same for Nasdaq. Any buy around this area with stops below 28,800 would be a good trade. Targeting what? Targeting at least 31,500. So it would look something like this. If you enter here with your stops here and your TP here, that's a 1 to 3. Not bad, actually. It's a high probability trade, so 1 to 3 is not bad at all. Okay. Mr. Trades, you shorted at 4,156 stops. Okay. So your stop loss is barely what? Barely 3 pips. Execution at 11:55 candle at 1 minute time frame. So what time is it now, Mr. Trades? Because It's 11:55 your time. So what's your time now? Okay, now 2 questions for you, Mr. Trades. Where was your target? And I need to know more about the way you trade so that I can tell you, because from what I see now, the stop loss is very, very tight, like even too tight. Like you're asking to get stopped out. Sure, so that 154.64. Okay, now makes sense. So you had a target of almost $6.02. So 1 to 3 risk reward. Okay, 1 second. So it was here, right? This is your trade right here. Stops at 6 what? $6.46. Okay. Your TP at 49. So what's wrong with the trade? Let me check. Maybe it was this trade. That's 55. Okay, let me check. 11:55. Okay, so it's 9:25. All right, 1 second. 9:25 is here. Okay. Where's 9:25? Here's 9:25. All right. Now we have something to talk about. That's not the trade. Okay. Earlier. Yeah, I got it. Hi, Shishir. Hi. Okay, so that's the trade, Mr. Trades. Yeah? Correct? So you entered here at 154.46 with your stops here. Now, the question would be, why would you enter there? Like, why did you enter at that price? Like, what did you see? I'm trying to find any sign of bullishness. Nothing at all. And your stop loss was above this? Okay, I got your trade, but I see no sign of bearishness. How come did you, like, what made you sell? Is it the downtrend? Because if you do this, it's already above this trend line. And if you do this, it's already above this trend line as well. So like however you move it, I don't know what made you sell there. So 1 minute supply, does it usually work? 1 minute supply, because like who supplies at 1 minute? Like usually supply and demand zones are for higher time frames. Like I wouldn't look at any supply or demand zone below 1 hour 30 minutes. Like that's the minimum. 1 minute supply is a little bit like too algorithmic, so to speak. And 5 minute has selling pressure. How come? Like this is the trade, right? Okay, let me go to 5 minutes. Here is your trade. How does this candle have high selling pressure? Look how strong it is. How does it have high selling pressure? Like the previous candle was actually a bullish candle, very bullish candle, and the candle you entered on was actually very, very bullish. So I still don't see how did you enter. Like you might have entered here with your stops above this candle here because like it was like a strong push to the downside. So you might have I don't know. You gave it a chance to sell here with your stops above this, but still, for me, like from what I see, it doesn't look like a very high probability trade. So if you want me to break down what went wrong with this trade, based on what you said, like I think you need to work on the edge itself. What is your win rate, Mr. Trades? The left area, yeah. Yeah, I got you. What is your win rate? And are you consistent or not? Left area. Around 70. That's your win rate. Oh wow. To be honest, I don't know what went wrong with your trade since you have a 70% win rate, but I might just ask you or like give you an advice to wait for a candle to close in your direction before just jumping in, because this is catching a flying knife. Like it's moving upwards and you decided to sell. Like how come? Just wait for one candle to close in your direction before entering. Maybe that would help a lot. Maybe it will your win rate becomes 90%. God knows. But like technically speaking, I don't see that this is a correct trade technically, to be honest. So I cannot judge it based on anything else. Technically, it's not a correct trade. Like the momentum is against you. The trend has been broken, like the 1 minute trend, and like you didn't wait for anything. It's above all major moving averages. No signs of weakness whatsoever. So I don't know what made you sell, but since you have a 70% accuracy or a win rate, so you must know what you're doing. My only advice would be wait for one candle to close in your direction. That might help you a lot. All right, guys, do you have any more questions? Hi, Shishir. Hi. Mesa not stopped out. I want to learn to cut trades at good points instead of recklessly stopping out. Right now, I'm in profit instead of hoping to go in my TP. I want to get out by myself the second I realize. So what did you do, Mesa? Because it reached your stop loss, which is at break even. You are welcome. Anytime, Mr. Trades. So, guys, do you have any more questions? Do you have any more questions? So, just to wrap up and just like a quick recap of what we said, gold might do one of two things. It might just continue dropping from here if it doesn't break the Asian high, which is 200, 4,200. If it does, we might be looking at 4,300. 4,300 might be a very good sell with stops above 4,400, targeting 3,800. In terms of DXY and EURUSD, we have two scenarios. The first scenario is DXY dropping to 100.3 level, while Euro reaches 100 point, sorry, not 100, 1.15 level, or we might see DXY continue going up from here and EURUSD continue dropping from here. So that's pretty much it. We might continue to see more consolidation or ranging in GBP and Bitcoin. DAX is very, very bullish. Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are forming a continuation pattern, which is the triangle, the symmetrical triangle. Any entry around the bottom of the triangle with stops below previous lows might be a good trade, targeting 31,500 on Nasdaq. So I think this is pretty much it. It all aligns with what we said on like the economic calendar. So I hope it was helpful. I hope you have a great trading week ahead. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the great questions as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.